This is Dr. Ellie Harper, the human flow psychologist, and you are listening to a very special episode of The Truth About Mental Health, where we talk about topics that have caused so much damage that people don't want to come for therapy anymore. I am joined today in person.
Yes. Yeah.
By Pastor Joel Swikowski from the Music of Life Church Kimberley and Pastor Jonathan Fries from the Music of Life Church Appleton.
What a treat.
I'm so excited.
This is so cool.
Real?
Yeah.
Like,
You are too.
I'm a bit worried that I need to just keep my hands to myself. Like, I just want to touch you.
That's okay.
So, how are you both doing?
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
Excited.
Yeah.
Me too.
This is new.
Yeah.
I love this style of interview. I'm excited. Our interviews have always gone great too. So looking forward to whatever you're going to bring us through today.
Yeah, well, let's see. I feel like that the interview today is going to be a little bit different from the two interviews we've done previously. And I feel like that's really a reflection of how different this season of What the Flock and the Milk podcasts have been. I feel like it really has been very different. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. I do miss you shouting at the start of the episodes.
That was a change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have production notes, and in the production notes it says a parenthetical comment: "Do not yell."
Yeah. Yeah.
Took a little bit.
Yeah, I can imagine. So in terms of the time that we've got together today, I wanted to ask you a few questions, kind of, I suppose, a bit of a big picture overview of season 6, in particular focusing on this ditty that has been building over the course of the episodes, and then hopefully maybe having a little bit of a look forward to what's coming next. Where do we go from here? Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Okay, amazing. So my first question for you both is with regards to the verses that you have focused on in season 6. I would really love to know either what is your favorite verse or a favorite from the ones that you've covered this season, and how having the tools so that you have the right interpretation of these verses has helped you in your lives.
All right. Well, I can go first. My favorite was the Job 2:3 episode. Mainly because there was a portion within that episode that Jonathan and I improv'd, and I really think we're hearing from God in the middle of the episode outside of what we had scripted. I would say season 6 so far has been the most, especially the What the Flock episodes have been the most scripted, because we are essentially bringing people through hermeneutic, or like a hermeneutics class, like how to interpret text. And we have the verse ahead of time, and there is a very particular structure we have to go through in order to get the right interpretation. So there wasn't as much flow or just improvised moments in this season as there have been in seasons 1 through 5. But in the Job one, there was this moment, and it was Jonathan who brought out this: God is not a God of I told, or God is not a God of because I said so. And really, God holds himself to the same standard of determining truth is what we need to hold ourselves to. So God isn't just going to say, because I'm God, you have to listen to me. Because I'm God, believe me. Because I'm God and what I say is truth, you can take me at my word. Even God brings and uses the same process for proving out truth is what we need to use. So that was a revelatory part of that episode that really built my faith in God being not just God and not just right and just, but being a good father. who's not going to just be like, because I'm the dad, you have to do what I say because I said so. So yeah, that one still sticks with me today. And what was the second half of the question?
Yeah, how kind of having the right interpretation of the verse has helped you in your own life.
Yeah, well, that I think I answered that then. It has
Yeah.
the right interpretation of that verse in particular has caused me to see God more as a father than ever before. So yeah, it's definitely a fun, memorable episode for me.
I mean, I can't think of anything specifically because it feels like such a blur.
The whole season.
Yeah, the whole season. But what I do have is after going through the whole season, having those steps laid out of what it takes to interpret a passage in scripture, it is so easy to see where people get off course.
Mm-hmm.
Where, as soon as people start stating the Bible says this and it's not in there, you're like, well, we're off on step one.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, what's the problem going on? Like you talk about having a hermeneutics course where it's like, but it's so simple the way that we've walked through everything. And what I feel like we're doing is we're giving, the listeners, and I think if people have stuck with us this long, I think that there's a true desire for people to want to be leaders. Because now we're getting into, okay, no, I want to learn how to interpret the Bible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like now this is so important to me that I want to be able to interpret it, even though I've been hurt or someone else has been hurt. So, yeah, just going through those steps and having those steps have been incredibly helpful. And how it's helped me in my personal life is it's caused me to relax a lot when it comes to discussions with the Bible.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a theology degree. And I think as soon as the Bible starts getting referenced, I think even for people who know the Bible a lot, as soon as the Bible starts being referenced, there is a tension.
Like a tight. Yeah.
There is all of a sudden now it's like, this discussion can go bad very, very quickly. And now that we have some tools to interpret it, it's like, it's beyond the simple passage of scripture to go to, no, how do you interpret the Bible?
Yeah.
How do you interpret the words that someone else is saying to you? So yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it resonated with me as well, kind of like in my background, that first point, like you said, step one, what does the Bible actually say? I've spent a lot of time reading psychology texts and papers and all this kind of like academic stuff, and that has come up so much for me in that context where people want to debate certain theories or certain research or whatever it is, and I was always really good at that being my first question: have you read it?
Yeah, right. What does it say?
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people are kind of like, oh no, but so and so said this, and and I'm like, okay, well, let's just pause there, come back when you have read it, and then we can talk. And so it's really interesting seeing that in the context of the Bible. And I, just from my point of view, I feel very, very fortunate as somebody who is reading the Bible for the first time, that I just feel like, wow, like what an advantage have I got here. So thank you both so much.
Oh, I have two things I want to say to that,
Okay.
Ellie. Number one is imagine a music reviewer who gets an album and is going to write an article in a magazine about the album and doesn't listen to the whole thing front to back. You go, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But how many people are doing that with the Bible? The Word of God. They just don't. They're not reading it front to back. They're not listening to it. They're not spending time with it. They're just going, it's either valid or not valid because of these little pieces.
Right.
To me, that's ridiculous. The second thing that I wanted to mention is I don't think we were ever meant to read the Bible alone.
Ooh.
And that is something that I feel like in our culture is a big mess. Is that people have, there are so many interpretations to what it means, and there's so many contradictory interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
But when God is talking, I get that it has different applications in people's lives, but he definitely does have a meaning to what it is that he's trying to say. There's an interpretation that he wants people to get from it. I know that you can get lots from it, and it would be without contradiction. But the issue that I think I have is that people are reading this or reading that, pieces of this, pieces of that, and they are creating their own religion because they're alone and they're isolated. And their religion helps them become comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about having these steps and these tools and this season is we're taking people through the Bible together, like we're walking through it together, and we're all finding out that we're wrong.
Yeah.
As we read it together.
Yeah.
The stuff that Joel and I believe, I always go back to, this is not like the story of Job. It's not a comfortable story.
No.
It's a very, very uncomfortable story. And that's, I believe, how you're pursuing truth, is that it's the right answer and it's the right interpretation, and it shows you that you're wrong. And we have to mold to it.
Yeah.
Versus we're molding, or we're taking these pieces to help us feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. Just on a slight tangent, just briefly, but Job so far is one of my favorite stories in the Bible. So much stuff in there about thought process. And, I love that. And yeah, again, just so glad that that I have all these resources now to help me to understand it. So yeah, as I said, thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, one of the other things that I loved about this is as I was kind of coming to the end of the season, and listening to this supplementary episode that you have at the end, where you can go through these 5 steps that you have in the ditty. But one of the things that you started off with in the supplementary episode is talking about this huge and subtle point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this huge and subtle point. I love
huge and subtle.
Huge and subtle. I love that. Yeah, what a conjunctive.
I know.
So but in terms of this point, just it was funny because it is huge and subtle. It's so obvious, this backward step, these first 5 seasons of everything that's gone before. And of course, as you know, I've listened to everything that you've published so far, and I was like, that is so true. All this, all the time, the energy, the effort that you put into creating those first 5 seasons, and everything that I'd learned through that. And it was like a huge but subtle frying pan to the side of my head, that actually, how could I have coped with this season 6 if I didn't have all that background and listen to all those previous episodes. And it just really made me think about this, and the importance of taking this backward step, right? And in this context, well, I'm jumping ahead now. I'll stick with that for now. In this context, the backward step being all the doctrine that you covered previously.
Yeah.
Okay. This kind of this sort of philosophy, if you like, of taking a backward step is something that I feel like I'm embracing more and more in my own life, in the work that I'm doing with people. I think it's just such a big part of human nature that we want to go from A to B in the quickest route possible. Just want to make progress. Yeah. And when we're doing that without this backward step, we end up causing more problems, and actually, end up going in the wrong direction long term. So anyway, my question is, yeah, again, I want to help people to understand a little bit more about you both, and who you are, and as human beings as well, right? Not just these
Real
super
human
smart,
beings.
Not just podcast hosts.
yeah, and yeah, yes, yeah. So, what's a way that you like to take a backward step in your daily life that helps you to make progress forward?
Is right.
I have a really simple one.
Okay.
Very, very simple. Is I like to make lists of the things that I do for the day.
Mhm.
And that's a backward step.
Yeah.
Making a list is how backward step works. I'm not getting something done. I'm creating another task for myself before I get stuff done. So it feels like, I'm giving myself more work to do when I'm trying to get stuff done. But the reality is, a list organizes all of the things that I need to do in that day. And that helps me organize things and take a backward step and then approach those tasks in the right order.
Mhm.
When I don't have a list, I don't feel very satisfied in my day. It kind of feels like I'm all over the place. And did I actually accomplish anything in that day? But doing a list I'm not jacked to do it. I'm not excited to create a list and write it down and make that happen. But it really helps. So that's a backward step that really helps me make progress.
Yeah, mine's similar. I mean, I don't necessarily make a daily list, but I run everything through my calendar, my digital calendar. So there's not much I do that isn't written down somewhere. And what that does is it not only helps me remember the big events I have every day and what I need to go towards, help me be more intentional, but it also frees up my brain to think about other things. Once I have it, sometimes I'm worried I put a little too much trust in my calendar, because once I have something in there, I don't think about it again. And I'm very trustworthy of Google to remind me when it's time for me to do whatever that event is. If Google stopped working, I'd probably stop doing half of the things in my calendar until I started remembering them. But other than that, I think a big part of it is also just knowing uniquely. I guess this would be a different answer to the question, is more my own unique process for how I start my day. So I've been mentored into understanding that so much, if not all of our lives, are really, it really comes down to energy. How much energy we have, how much energy we're using, how much energy the things we have in our day is gonna cost us, or how much we're gonna gain throughout the day. And really being in my uniqueness, anybody being in their uniqueness is going to be the key to gaining more energy throughout the day. So that'd be the backward step, is really understanding my own unique process for my day, especially how I start my day uniquely for me. And what I like to do, and what I've been coached in, is starting my day in a way that gives me energy.
Oh, nice.
So that I'm in the positive to start my day. Because inevitably there's going to be, a handful of things, if not more, throughout the day that are going to cost me energy. But when I'm already above that zero line, something that brings me down a little bit isn't necessarily going to bring me in the negative, because I started the day with energy. Instead of starting the day doing something I don't want to do, I'm in the negative and I'm fighting and scratching my way to try to get back to getting energy. So that's one of the backward steps I've taken, is really putting in the time to figure out what I need to do, especially in the first hour or two that I'm awake, in order to start my day in a way where it's like, okay, I'm ready to just handle whatever comes towards me now.
I'm just being a little bit nosy now, Joel, but like what's something in the first thing in the morning that helps?
I wanted to know the same thing.
So, well, so I mean, the first it can start as simple as even just first thing I do is, brush my teeth, make my bed. Things that like tidy up a little bit, get a little organized, which I appreciate. But bigger than that, every day, there's one of two things that I start my day with. And that's either a meeting. I'm within 15 minutes of waking up, I'm talking to somebody.
Nice.
And it's somebody that is somebody who I know at the end of that meeting, my thought process is going to be better. Or number two, it's if that's 4 days a week where I'm talking to somebody right away in the morning. The other 3 days a week, I like to exercise too. So I make sure that if I'm not talking to someone really early in the morning, that I'm exercising. I'm going for a walk or I'm at the gym and listening to audiobooks and music and stuff like that. So really, I guess at the principal level, there's something that's enriching me as a person and improving my thought process is within 15 minutes of waking up every morning. And that's a way that really helps me build some momentum right off the bat.
I love that. My morning, so we call them the greens, the immediate energy givers.
Got it. Yeah.
If I can drink coffee, wake up, drink coffee, and talk to Morgan.
Yeah.
My wife Morgan. That will immediately every day.
Yeah.
And if we could do that every day, like I just want to drink, I say I just want to drink coffee and look at you.
Oh.
Let's just talk. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's so sweet.
That's not what I. No, that's not.
I'm not mad at you. I'm really happy for you.
So happy. Yeah. And it's either that or it's drink coffee and listen to music.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's like coffee and no movement at all. Just let's just sit in one spot and wake up, and that is immediately energizing for me.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and thank you.
Real people.
Right. And
Yep.
Yeah, real.
Real.
Okay.
We aren't virtual. Holograms. Yeah.
Let's meet. Oh, sorry.
Can we put an effect on at this point? Yeah. Okay.
With me doing the editing, I can't promise anything.
Well, yeah, no, thank you both. I love that. I got a little snapshot into your lives there, so thank you. Okay. So next question. So the theme of this season of season 6 has been about removing the kind of contradictions, right? But caused by man-made tradition, and yes, with the aim of repairing the reputation of the Bible. Okay. So I was kind of thinking about this, and I love this. I love this. Again, the whole kind of philosophy and behind repair and actually what that means. Fixing something to the point that it is better than it was before. Yeah. And yeah, and again, I was just sort of thinking about areas where I've got things wrong in the past, and perhaps I needed to repair my reputation. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share quickly a little story here. So one of the things that I've been working on repairing recently is my relationship with my mom for the American viewers. Mom. Did I crush it?
Shout out to Megs. You're listening.
Yeah. Hi, Max. Right. Yeah, and I've been working at repairing my relationship with her. And recently, in fact, just before I came to visit you in the States, I was away with her for a few days, and it's the first time we've been away together for a good few years. And the last time we went away, I was not in a good place mentally and emotionally, and I was triggering a lot, and yeah, one way or another caused quite a lot of damage in the relationship with with my mum. So I wanted to use this trip as a way of repairing, and that was kind of one of my key objectives while I was away. And I wanted to, you know, show her that, you know, I was somebody, you know, a safe person for her to be around again, and you know, and yeah, and help her in different ways. And I feel like that went really well. And it was through having, you know, yeah, really kind of like this doctrine around kind of confession and repentance, right? That, you know, that facilitated that. I mean, I knew what the process was for doing that, you know, starting off with, you know, admitting I was wrong, and then, you know, what am I going to do to kind of like, you know, make up for it and so forth. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to ask you, yeah, again, have a little bit of a further dig into the lives of Jonathan and Joel here. What is a doctrine that has helped you to repair your reputation?
Oh, I can go right away. And these aren't even necessarily topics that we've covered in the podcast either. I'm sure we've addressed them within episodes, but the principles of cherishing and nourishing, which is really the way we reach people, can be seen as a combination of cherishing and nourishing. The way God reaches us, the way Jesus treated the church, the way a man's supposed to treat his wife, you know, and the way women are supposed. It's pretty universal. And the cherishing is the providing a safe place, and the nourishing is the growing. And the providing a safe place, we like to see that as warming and refuge, and the nourishing is the part where I excel at. It's the teaching and the instruction and the confrontation. And as a teacher myself, I am naturally a nourisher. And when, you know, unfortunately, there was a long period of time where I used my uniqueness as a rationalization as to why I didn't need to be anything but who God created me to be. I didn't need to adjust to other people. So it was, no, I'm a nourisher. If you really want to be nourished, if you really want to grow, then you'll handle me. And if you can't handle me, then you must not want to grow. So the responsibility of the safety was completely on the other person. So I built a reputation of being somebody who was rough, and I would even put the words to it now, as there were times I was just flat out a bully. So what I learned that helped me repair this, the doctrine, was really cherishing, and that we need both. And really that in order for me, because I do care about nourishing so much, I do care about teaching. It's the thing I care about the most. If I want to be effective at it, I have to be a good cherisher. And that's where, when I was able to connect it and actually see it as a conjunctive, where it's an and statement, it's not true unless both halves exist.
Nice.
I can't nourish if people don't feel safe. And that is just a flat out an absolute, as it goes with humans. People don't grow if they don't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to say that is people aren't going to hear me teach if they don't feel safe. And so I really, with a lot of Jonathan's help, we refer to it as even cherishing boot camp that he brought me through. That's definitely a skill that I had to build. I'm not naturally that cherishing, but it is something that I've grown in over time. I still would rather work with Jonathan, you know, because then he can just be that for me, and people will still feel safe. But it is a skill I've had to learn myself. And the big revelation for me happened in a couple ways. One was Jonathan will help me see, like, anytime I need to treat somebody with a lot of care, the flow thought for me that Jonathan reminds me of is treat him like Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
because
Okay.
I am when it comes to Jack, there's nobody else that I cherish at a higher level than him. There's nobody that I'm the safer person for than him.
There's no one needs to remind Joel to care about Jack.
No.
Or say, hey Joel, you know what you should do to really care about Jack is this. It's like Joel is
Or Joel, you need to be a safe place for Jack. It's like no.
I just want to say, in case there's anybody watching that's not aware, that Jack's your son.
He's my son.
Yeah.
Yep, he's just turned 16 in the last few months, and it has worked. Like with Jack, he's the guy who, like, when his car breaks down on the side of the road, he calls me, and I'm the first call when something bad happens. And he knows that he's not going to get yelled at. He's going to call somebody who's safe to help him deal with the issue. So that's one of my greatest accomplishments. And I know if I treat other people more like how I treat Jack, then I will treat other people better than I do without having that flow thought. And then the second thing that was the big kick in the pants was I want to be cherished. I want to feel cared for. Yeah. I want to feel safe. And those the combination of those two things was like all right, well, I have to become as excellent as possible at this. And I'm still not nearly as good at it as someone like Jonathan or someone like you, Ellie, who are naturally gifted in that cherishing side of that conjunctive. But all that does is just give me this motivation to see it as something that I always need to improve in. And so I haven't given up. It's still something like I've never seen it as like, okay, I'm cherishing enough. It's like, no. In fact, it's more this. I never have to try to be nourishing. I can always be better at cherishing. That's unique to me. That's just how it goes for me. So that was the cherishing and nourishing doctrine, especially the cherishing doctrine, was the one that was the most transformative for me and my reputation, and just the way I've learned to reach people. So.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did I what?
Did you answer that question yet?
No.
No, I didn't think you had. Sorry, I can't keep. This happens sometimes when I'm listening to Joel. I just
kind of.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. He's quite the nerd. So the question is the doctrine that. I mean, the life-changing doctrine. Can you remind me?
Yes, of course. A doctrine that has helped you to repair your own reputation.
Oh, yes. So I would say the doctrine for me would be confrontation. So it's just, I could just say it's the reverse of Joel and then back to you. But I'm not going to. I'm going to give a little bit
elaborate more.
I'm going to give a little bit more context. What I've learned is I used to be a classic enabler, great to be around, really fun. And I used to just, kind of a mantra of like, don't worry about it. It's fine. Like, you don't need to address that. You don't need to step into it. Life's hard enough. Just kind of ignore it. And so I used to have, I think, a reputation as in a lot of ways, a really nice person. And a really friendly, a really fun person. But I was like aspirin to cancer. So I would help people like feel good as they were like their bodies were riddled with cancer.
That's a really powerful analogy.
Yeah.
Because that's what compassionate people can be. They are a painkiller, but the painkiller doesn't actually deal with the issue.
That is great.
Behind. So what we're supposed to do as compassionate people is a high self-esteem. If you're truly confident in who you are as a compassionate person, you are the best at confronting situations, and you're the best, especially if someone's dealing with pain in their life that they have caused. You are the best person to say, hey, have you taken a look at this pain that you're causing? Have you seen this? And there's a, for the story with Joel, like, why don't you treat this person like you treat Jack? And it's a really direct thing to say to someone, to speak right into the core of who they are. But because I'm compassionate, learning confrontation just means with face, con with front face, just means making someone aware face to face about their issue. Being direct, it's being direct with your words, not in an abusive fashion, but I don't hold anything back. So as time has gone on, and the more comfortable I get with confrontation, it's like, it is such a, like, I'm just unafraid of stepping into situations where I need to confront. There's obviously so much tension, but because I've repaired this idea of confrontation equals abuse. If you confront someone, you're abusing them. I don't see it that way. I see confrontation as being something that is making someone aware for their benefit of something that's going to help their pain go away the real way. Where we need to confront the issue. I need to make your face aware of the issue so that your pain actually goes away. So now that's the way I see it. I see that as, if someone has cancer, it's like, you have cancer. What's the cause of your cancer? It's the way you're thinking. It's the issues in your life. It's not knowing who you are. It's not knowing who God is. It's not knowing how your thought process works, and et cetera, and helping people, having the courage and bearing their pain and carrying their pain with them as we walk through these situations that are intensely uncomfortable and very, very painful. So yeah, that's where I've seen repair in my life a lot. And that has been the superhighway of growth in my life, is through confrontation. And now I say, let me talk to them. Let me talk to the person about the issue. What is it that we're trying to say? What is it that we're trying to get through? What's the message to deliver? Well, tell me the message, and I'll be able to wordsmith it in a way that is in a caring fashion for someone's benefit.
And that's actually, I can attest to that. Jonathan's the guy who, we've had a lot of things, a lot of confrontations we've stepped into the last year, less than a year, and then even over the last couple of years. A lot of them through writing, and Jonathan's usually the person we go to look at whatever the message is last. Jonathan does his thing last, and it's because his reputation has been built to be, he's going to be able to craft these confrontations in a way where the confrontation absolutely gets through, but in a way where it's going to feel the most caring on the back end as well. So it's going to be most likely received, where from me, it's a lot more technical, a lot more doctrine, and it can just be more just factual, where Jonathan has a way of just crafting a confrontation that's just a lot more easily received and well written.
Joel and I are very complimentary, because I don't need to work on being caring. I don't need to work on being being kind or nice, or compassionate. I need to worry about the truth. I need to worry about, I need to say the truth and not pull my punches when I'm sitting down with someone. I could be nice and say, and smile and deliver that confrontation, but I can't pull my punches. So the truth needs to be there, and that's what I'm trying to work on.
I'm enjoying this so much, guys. Right? So I think it's really interesting that how your two answers to this question are kind of like, from either side of this one coin, really, or this either side of this conjunctive. And I think it's something I've heard you kind of talk about before, maybe have a little joke about, kind of about Joel being more on the nourishing side and you more on the cherishing side. And just to actually experience it with you in person, like, it's making so much sense to me, the energy that you both have in the podcast, how you do complement each other seeing it in person. I'm having a proper fangirl right now. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's so lovely. It's great. Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
I love it. Okay. So, yes. Now, another thing that yeah, I loved about this season, and again, this has been a theme throughout actually, all 6 seasons, where we get to the part at the end where it's like, so what's the ultimate answer? Yeah. What's the ultimate answer? I love that, kind of looking at, these, the strict side, the loose side. What's the ultimate answer? And again, I felt, well, in previous series, it's kind of been on a smaller scale, right? Kind of like the ultimate answer for specific topics, whether it's love or whether it's humility or whatever. And this is kind of like, what's the ultimate answer in terms of preparing the reputation of the Bible? And I was like, holy cow. Like, so these guys are giving us information that can, or showing us these steps, like how you can handle something that is so huge. Okay. And I'm a big picture person, so I like going off into the clouds, into the stratosphere, when I'm thinking about these things. And I was thinking, it just struck me. I feel like this can give people the key to the ultimate answer for any question. Any.
Yeah, I think that the key, I think these steps could be applied in a different context. And yeah, absolutely be used to repair other things than just the Bible.
Okay. And so this is something that I will talk to you both about afterwards, because straight away I'm thinking, how am I going to help repair the reputation of psychology? Psychology, it's a relatively modern field, we're only talking kind of like 120 years, really. There's been a lot of mistakes made along the way. And I can't help, every time I listen to one of your episodes, I'm thinking, how does this apply in terms of what I do? But anyway, I would love to talk to you both more about that going forward, because I think that would be really exciting. But my question for you here, so now that we've got the ultimate answer here in terms of repairing the reputation of the Bible is God's doctrine. So, and I felt this was like such a huge point. And really my question is, where are you taking this from here, guys? I'm appreciate you might not be able to give too much away, but that's my question. Yeah, where are you going with the podcast from here?
I think it's fun that you said, it can seriously work in any context, these tools. What does the Bible say, and the translation and all of that? What would it look like to develop your interpretation skills with the Bible, and then learn how to interpret the Bible, learn how to use the Bible in your life? This it is still living, it still is impactful, but it's not moving. Like, it's immovable. It's truth, it's stone. So you read this truth, and we can practice our interpretation skills onto something that we are not going to hurt. I'm not going to hurt the Bible. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, but I can hurt other people. So the interpretation skills that we learn and our focus on understanding the Bible, what does that look like if we were to build our skills in season 6 and take our interpretation skills and apply that towards human beings? How do we understand human beings that are complex? They're constantly changing. You're gonna hope, and you're gonna really value the time that you spent practicing your understanding of this thing that doesn't move. Because when you start using your tools to interpret what someone else is saying to you that is constantly moving, a little practice is going to be helpful.
Mhm.
And then years and years and years and years and years of people arguing and fighting over the most damaging and catastrophic issues that have plagued our, humanity.
Yeah.
You're gonna want some practice.
Okay.
And now we're talking about season 7.
Okay. Oh, I'm getting tingles.
Yeah. That's wonderful, by the way. Yeah. I'll just add season 7. Yeah, it transcends the Bible. It transcends the doctrine that has hurt the church. And it does really go into how we treat and understand humans. And my big pitch for season 7, what I have been telling people so far, is the topics we cover. We are presenting information that I don't think anybody is seeing it the way we're presenting it. It is, for the most part, it is just such a brand new perspective that I think can really, really transform people in how they view certain topics, and maybe more importantly, in how they treat other people who hold different beliefs than them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so exciting.
I can't wait. I really, really can't wait. This sounds like it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hoping that season 7 gets released, that we'll still be able to sit down on a couch with you afterwards.
Yeah.
Because we say some, we're in production of it still.
Okay.
There's
And
been some tough episodes.
There's been some moments
To even
where Joel and I are like,
we have to say that.
we're gonna say this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wonder what everybody else is.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Right. I can't wait. Okay. Right. Now then, to wrap up. Now, this ditty, right? Do you know it off by heart, Jonathan, or not? Can you?
What does the Bible say? Did the English translation get in the way? Why don't you look at the context? Find out the scriptures you need to find the words which are complex. Is that what it is?
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
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 That sounds familiar.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I love that, and just and again, this supplementary episode, I just feel like I will be referring back to that a lot. I've already listened to it about 5 times. And yeah, I would encourage anybody else to do that as well, in terms of like having these steps. But I thought it was such a fun way of doing it. And I've written each of you a little ditty.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I stayed up far too late last night. Well, working on yours actually, Jonathan.
Oh, okay.
Joel's I wrote for him a little while ago.
Oh, ditty / limerick.
Limerick, yes.
Ah.
Limerick. Yeah, it's a limerick. Yeah, the limerick.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've heard this before.
Really?
This is a treat.
Oh, this is fun.
I even wrote one back to Ellie. Yeah.
You did?
I wrote my own limerick. Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe that's for another day, though.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I could find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can I share mine?
Of course.
Let's hear
Of
it.
course.
Okay, right now let me right. So Jonathan, okay, this one's for you. So Jonathan Fries with a pastor who cared that the Bible's reputation was repaired. With a flick of his locks, he screamed, "What the fuck?" And remove contradictions with a ditty he shared.
Wow. That is so...
Wonderful.
Oh,
my
so
God.
good.
Uh,
There we go. So that was just for you.
Thank you.
so
You're welcome. And Joel's, yeah, Joel's already heard his, but I thought,
it's been a while since I've heard it. It'll
Okay.
feel new.
okay. So there once was a pastor called Joel, a teacher to the core of his soul. He loved commentating and pontificating and spouting truth out of his pie hole.
Yeah. That is.
Spelling to that was final. Oh, it's so
I don't know.
good.
What's the word of the day? Pontificating or pie hole?
Oh, it lands so well. I'm so glad it didn't end with pontificate.
Yeah, no.
Pie hole.
Pie hole. Oh,
Oh, that's so funny.
that is so good.
So that was just my way.
Oh,
of
thank
saying
you.
Thank you both for season 6.
Oh,
and
well done.
yeah, again for taking the time to sit down with me. This I can't tell you how much fun this has been and how excited I am, and I am just gonna still try and keep my hands to myself after this and not
Yeah.
just pat you too much or anything. But yeah, thank you both.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
So this has been the truth about mental health, and we'll see you again soon.